Hello and welcome to another tutorial. In this video, we will cover everything you need to know about working with strings in PHP, including basic string operations, string functions, and tips and tricks for working with strings effectively. So first of all, let's get to understand what we mean by strings. So strings in PHP are just sequence of characters. Okay, sequence of characters such as numbers here, okay, letters such as numbers, comma, letters, symbols, and many more. Yes, so that is what we refer to as a string in PHP. So string, okay, string in PHP. Now, it's so long as it is going to be surrounded by a single quote or double quote, it is termed as what? A string. So first of all, let's say we have this variable here called string1. Okay, then we equate it to single quote and say that this is a string with single quote, like that. Then we have to terminate it. All right, now let's also say that we want a string with double quote, so string2. Let's equate it to, or let's assign this double quote. So say this is a string with double quote. Then we have to make sure that we terminate it like that. Now let's output this to the browser and see what we have. So string1, let's make sure that we save this thing. Go to file and go to save. And then I'll open my browser and then make sure that I am in this particular route here. So strings.php. I've created a file for this particular session called strings.php. Then I'll just refresh, and yes, this is a string with single quote. Now you wouldn't see any difference when it comes to the second one. So let me just change this one to string2, and you'll see that we will get a similar output. Okay, why is it not showing? Okay, it is now saving. I don't know why this thing is just keeping long. All right, so it has now finished saving. Let's refresh, and as you can see, this is a string with double quotes. So we can either use a single quote or a double quote to be able to implement string. All right, now let's see a scenario where we would want to blend these two to actually achieve a string. Okay, now let's say that one string3 here, string3, and then we are saying equal to, and then set double quote first. Then we said this is a string with both single quotes. Okay, so let's say single quote, then make sure that you bring the single quote and double quote and double quote and double quote. Good. So as you can see, already we are facing what? An error. Now what you are supposed to make sure we terminate this. What you are supposed to do is that immediately after the end, where the end here, okay, you have to bring what we call an escape character. So you bring what? Backward slash, like so, and then just before the last quote, you bring another backward slash, and then you make sure that, okay, if you have to end the statement with a dot, you make sure that there is another what double quote like that, and this is a valid string. You just have to know and understand how to escape this character. This is what we call escaping of what the characters. You get it? Good. So we can equally achieve something like so, blending of single quotes and double quotes inside a particular string like that. This is how to go about it. So let me try and then output this thing here to the browser and see what we have. Okay, I believe it is now saving. Wow, why would this thing keep delaying like that? Okay, now it has finished saving. Let's refresh and see what we have. Good. So you can see that this is a string with both single quote and double quote. So you see, it has maintained the characters for us. Okay, the single quote characters and the double quote character, it has maintained that for us. So in a situation where you would want to achieve something like so, that is how to go about it. You have to know how to escape the characters by leveraging the backward slash like that. Okay, all right, now let me just go ahead and comment all these ones out and then say we are going to work with another concept called string concatenation. Okay, string concatenation like that. Now when we say string concatenation, what does it mean? One of the most common operations you will perform with strings in PHP is concatenation, or joining two or more strings together. That is basically what it means. This can be this can be done using the concatenation operator. Okay, so let's see in code how to actually achieve a thing like that. So first of all, let's declare some few variables. Say that we have a variable called greeting. Okay, and then let's say it holds a value hello, and then make sure we terminate it, and then say we have a name variable called which has a value of world like that. Now let's try and then say we want to concatenate this. How do we do that? We have to store the full string in a new variable. So let's say full greeting. Okay, and say that, okay, we would want to concatenate greeting. Okay, dot, so we use the dot, okay, to concatenate other strings onto a particular string. So we want to concatenate this one here to this one, this greeting here to this one. So how do we do that? We say greeting, then we say dot, then we say name, and then we make sure we terminate this. Now let's output this one here to the browser and see what we've got. So echo full greeting, and then make sure we terminate it. All right, and then make sure we save this one as well. Okay, it is now saving. All right, now let's go and see the output in the browser. Let's refresh. Okay, hello world. You see that these were separate strings, but then we have been able to concatenate them using the dot operator. Do you get it? Now, and also you can see that it is closer to each other like that. It is combined. We want it to be separated. How do we do that? We will have to introduce one concept called dot. Then we make sure we bring what we call single quote like that. Then we give some space, another single quote, and then we bring a dot like so. Okay, now let's see what we have in the browser. Okay, I think it is now saving. Okay, let's wait a while. Okay, now Okay, you can see that there is now a space in between these two strings. Yeah, so that is how to concatenate a string. All right, that is how to go about concatenation of a string. Yeah, so as you can see, we're able to give some space with the help of what this single quote like that, by making sure that we left some space in between this single quote and then concatenated it with the second variable like that, and it created that space for us. So that is how to basically concatenate strings or join two strings in PHP. All right, now let's move on to look at another concept called string functions. String functions. So I'll comment all these ones out and then say we want to look at a concept called string functions. So string functions in PHP. Okay. All right, so in addition to the basic operations, PHP also provides us a number of functions for working with strings. Some of the most commonly used string functions include the strlen, which is the string length, and it is used for finding the length of a string. There is another one called string pos, which is for finding the position of a substring within a string. Okay, yes, we will implement that so that you see how it is actually working. Now we also have what we call str to lower, which is string to lower. So for instance, you have a sentence, or yes, you have a sentence that you would want it to be in lowercase. Use this particular function here to be able to implement that. Yes, and then there is another one called string to upper. Since there's lower, there is upper as well. Okay, these are all functions that comes with PHP. These are all functions that comes with PHP. All right, now let's also say that there is another one called substring, which is substring like that, and it is for extracting a portion of a string like that. Okay, so let me say that I'll comment all these ones out like so, and say we want to have some few strings to work with. So let's say str and then equate it to hello world like that, and then we can terminate this one. So first of all, let's say we want a substring from this particular string here. Okay, from this string here we want a substring. So substring equal to, let's say, world. So I'll say this one here and make sure that I terminate it. Okay, now let's go ahead and say we want to echo the string position like so. It is a method, so you make sure you open brackets, and then we say we want to find what the position of this particular substring here from this one. Okay, so let's say first of all we have to pass this string in here. This is the string that we want to find a substring from. Okay, this is the entire string that we want to find the substring from, so we will have to pass this one in first. So it takes two arguments. Okay, the first one is the main string here, and then the substring, so which is what substring like that, and then make sure we terminate it. Now if we should view this one in the browser, we should get the position of this string here in this entire in this entire string here. Okay, all right, now let's go and then refresh the browser to see what we have. So we are getting 6. So that is the position of the substring in the main string. So let's try to say, want to count and see. Now strings are indexed using, they are indexed starting from what, 0. So this is the 0th character, 1, that means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The empty space is included, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. then the empty space is also included, and then the sixth one. So the word start at the sixth position. Okay, so we've been able to use the string position to find where the substring is located in the main string. So that is a bit about the string position. Okay, good. Now let's try to make use of the string to lower, this one right here. All right, so I'll say that echo string to lower, like that, and I'll pass in the main string, which is str, like that, and I'll make sure I'll terminate it. Now you see that this thing is starting with a capital letter, and the second word is also starting with capital letter. We expect that all this will be converted to a small case. So when I refresh, you see that all of these ones are converted now to lowercase. So that is a string to lower. We can also do for the string to upper. So string to upper. Let me just echo that on a different line. So string to upper, like that, and I'll pass in the main string like that, and make sure, let me just echo some few break tags here like that, and then go and refresh. Make sure it is saved first. Okay, so it has now finished saving. Let's refresh and see what we have. So you can see that the first one, which is the string to lower, is here, and then the string to upper is also working like that. All right, now let's try to work with the substring and see what we've got. So I'll say that, okay, we want to echo substring, and then we have to pass the string that we want to get the substring from. Okay, so which is the main string str, then we give comma. Now this one takes 3 arguments, which is what? The string itself, the offset, and the length of the string or the substring that we want. So the offset, we want it to start from 0, the 0th what? Index here. Okay, so we will pass that 0. And how long do we want the substring to be? We want it to be of the length 5, and then make sure we terminate this one, and then go and see what we have. Refresh. Okay, I believe it is now saving. As you can see, I don't know why this thing keeps coming up like that. Okay, so let me go back and refresh and see what we have. Oh, let me give a break tag as well. Copy this one here and make sure I paste it so we see what's happening exactly. Okay, it is now saving. Okay, so it has finished saving, I think. Okay, now let's go and then see what it gives us. Okay, so it has extracted the first word for us, which is what? The hello. Now let's exactly understand what is happening. So we said that, okay, we wanted a substring from this entire string here. So the substring function takes 3 arguments. Okay, these are arguments. These things that we pass in here are called arguments. Okay, now it takes the original string, and it also takes the offset. It means where we want to start the substring from. Okay, so we are saying that when you pick this entire string, we want you to start from the 0th index, start from 0. Okay, and now pick it up from 0 through to the 5th character. So it should be of the length 5. So it means that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 0 actually means 1, right? So we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you get it? So this is what the length of the substring that we want, and this is what we passed in here, and that's how come we are seeing that hello was outputted, was outputted to the browser. Now let's try to work around this thing a little and say that we want it to start from the sixth offset, or the sixth position, like that, and say that we want it to be of the length 1 2 3, let's say 4, and see what we get. Okay, let's say 4. Make sure we save this one here. Make sure we save this one here, and then go to the browser and view it again. So as you can see, we started from the sixth position, and then we wanted it to be of the length 4. So we can see that it got rid of the last character, which is the D. Yeah, so that is a bit about what the substrings. Now let's try to find the length of this entire string and see what it gives us. So let me say I'll echo a break tag here and say that echo string length, and then I'll pass in what the main string, which is str here, and then make sure I'll save this one, go to file, and then hit save, like that. All right, now let's go to the browser and see what we have. Refresh, and you can see that the length of this entire string is 11, right? So it is true when you add the 5 here and then the 6 here. Okay, this is 5 5, right? 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5, including the blank space here. It is regarded as what, it is regarded by PHP when it comes to strings. So you just have to understand or take it like that, or you need to know that that is how it works. Okay, so this thing in totality is 11, and that makes sense. Yeah, so those are few functions that PHP provides us to work with strings. Whenever we are working with strings, those are few functions that we can implement whenever we are working with strings in PHP. All right, so finally, here are a few tips and tricks that whenever you are working with strings, it will help you a lot. Now make sure you use double quotes, right? Use double quotes instead of single quote when working with variables in strings. So for instance, you have a string like okay, let's say I have another string called, okay, let's say first name. Okay, let's say first name, and I'll say John, and I'll make sure I'll terminate this one, and then I'll have a second name, or let's say middle name, John K. Okay, and then we have the last name, like that, and I'll say Pra, like that. Okay, now let's say that we want to concatenate, so message equal to, let's say hello, then we want to what, make use of the first name. All we have to do is say first name, and then let's echo first name, let's echo the message and see what we have, like that. Save this one. Okay, and let's go and see what we have in the browser. Refresh, and as you can see, we are having hello John here. Let me actually try and then put a break tag somewhere here. Okay, it's saving. Okay, now let me just refresh and see what we have. Okay, so hello John, you see that we've been able to pass in this variable inside this string here. Now let's try and then use single quote and see what it gives us. So I'll just highlight the whole of this and then I'll put them in single quote. Okay, so it is not seeming to work, so let me do it manually and then see what it gives us. Save it. Okay, now let's refresh and see what we get. You see that it was not able to expand the variable, whatever that is contained in the variable, it was not able to expand it. So it is very okay that whenever you want to embed a variable inside of a string like so, you use double quote. Okay, you use double quote for that. Exactly. All right, the next tip is that consider using a text editor with syntax highlighting, so that whenever you are making mistake or you are not really doing the right things when it comes to strings, your editor can help you out. Yes, so those are few things that I think you need to consider when working with strings, and it will help you and help you a lot. Thanks for watching, and that is it. We hope you found this tutorial on strings in PHP helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more tutorials on PHP and other programming topics. I hope that I'll see you in the next video. Until then, peace.